parents an unnecessary earthly contrivance. Kevin and I have the kind of grown-up jobs that cause people to nod politely when we say what we do and not ask any follow-up questions. I work as a web developer for a creative agency, and Kevin's a software engineer. I wear my peasant blouses and flared skirts on the bus, and he drives to work in his suit. Though he could dress more casually, he likes the advantage the formality gives him. He's not especially handsome, but his shirt is crisp, his tie well chosen, his fingernails trimmed, and his hair nicely kept, neat, with a bit of bounce. What more can a man do? Before we met, I had hoped to find someone in an old-fashioned, romantic way. At a coffee shop, on a train, at my high school reunion. The guys I hoped to meet again were the ones I hadn't talked to in high school, whose sleepy, sexy faces I stared at through an algebra or social studies haze. At the 15-year reunion, I was cornered by Georgia, who, when tests were handed back in class, would immediately turn around and ask me what grade I got. She had become a middle school guidance counselor. She went on about my kids and how cute and troubled they were, while I eyed whatever men didn't seem to have a woman attached to them. The only one I talked to smelled like sardines and laughed when I said things that weren't at all funny. After that, I gave up and went online. At first, the array of men was like the lure of the grocery store at midnight. Shelves piled high with shiny goods until you look closer and realize they're all filled with corn syrup. But Kevin didn't try to market himself with a glossy sheen. We skipped the coquettish emails and the hesitant phone calls and went right to sleeping together. He would undress in my living room, the wingtip shoes, the argyle socks, the creased pants, the boyish undershirt. His boxers were soft and worn. There was the thrill of a kind and decent naked man in my apartment. It happened slowly, first body and then mind, my skin leading the charge. Love him, love him. On the second date, we established that both of us wanted kids, preferably 2, but we weren't in a rush. And then suddenly, in the way that even the passage of 3 years can feel sudden, we were. Now, the more we wait, the more rushed we are. Every 28 days, I mark an S in my pocket calendar for old Aunt Sally. She is miserably punctual, though once it was 32 days. I couldn't get to sleep on night 31. I kept squirming around in bed until Kevin caught me. Hey, tell me what's going on. I didn't want to get his hopes up, but I couldn't help myself. My period's late, just by a few days, but... Yeah? How do you feel? Fine. Anxious. Maybe a tiny bit nauseated. Kevin circled my belly button with his finger. Let's start music lessons early. Maybe at 4? 5 might be better. Something cool. Viola. Or oboe. Oboe? Are you crazy? Piano. Pianos don't squeak. Anyone can play the piano. Are you saying our kid would be just anyone? This kind of banter had been forbidden for months. We picked it up now like AAers playing a drinking game. We knew the risks, but we hoped that this time would be different. My period came at work in the bathroom, with its tastefully arranged display of tampons in a basket as a courtesy to the female employees. I sat on the toilet and pictured babies living in the sewer system, playing in filth, but somehow still clean and happy. A gang of naked bottoms and fuzzy heads throwing balls of shit and yelping with glee. When I got home, I had to tell Kevin, which I did by making sure the tampon wrapper was visible in the trash. We held on to each other for a while, and then we splintered off into our depressive habits. He read a million Amazon reviews for some dumb little thing we needed to buy, and I mapped out elaborate routes and accommodations for exotic trips we weren't going to take. One Saturday, I make the mistake of going to the mall. My sister's birthday is in a week, and I'd like to send her an interesting piece of clothing.